Traders, welcome back to the channel. Today we're covering PLTR, PALANTIR. Now in the video, we're going to be covering some of the new articles and new press releases released by the company and two of the major new deals that this company just sealed the deal with. This is pretty big stuff going into the new earnings coming up on May 13th, and this could really solidify the growth theory that we have behind this company. Now a lot of analysts are really undervaluing this company, and I believe they are double bottoming and set up for that next major breakout to the upside. $27 to $30, maybe even higher. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into the content. Like, subscribe, do what you gotta do.
Yo, get it twisted. This rap shit is mine.
Okay, so the first thing I want to cover is going to be on the 20th. Ringier just announced that they are secured a deal with PALANTIR, and they're going to be doing the back end stuff on this journalism product. Now, if you don't know what they are, as we come down here, you can actually see Ringier provides premium journalism, yet the European digital publishing space is changing. We wanted to be able to arm our journalists with the best possible data so they could better serve and inform our readers. PALANTIR is really broadening their company. They're broadening their target of who is using their overall product. And this is the biggest thing we're talking about with these demo days, with double click day, is yes, they're not really engaging to the typical investor like me or you, and even more so to the retail investor that really doesn't understand all the terms that they're announcing. Now, they're not marketing to you. They're marketing to these big companies. And I believe a lot of YouTubers came out with a negative viewpoint of double click day, but ultimately this is what you want from the company. They're not going to, blow up Snapchat or these social media with their ads, and that's not who they're targeting. They're targeting multi-million-dollar and even billion-dollar companies and governments worldwide, and that's what they're securing right now. So this Ringier deal, it really pushes them into that space of getting into a whole nother market, like I was saying before, getting into the publishing industry. This is, a nationwide thing, worldwide, in every single nation. This is a specific area that they can dominate in. And PALANTIR is outperforming all their competitors, even though they're not doing so well in the year. That being said, they're still outperforming the competitors in the space when it comes to stock value. So that's another thing to take into account. So I do like this, and PALANTIR is still showing that they are growing very rapidly. Like I mentioned in quarter number 4, but that's when we really got to see all the companies that they announced, and the bigger ones, Procter & Gamble, BP, IBM, total different companies, and they're showing that there's not one specific niche where their product is aligned to, and it's ultimately going to change the way companies are able to perform. So let's keep going. PALANTIR's world-leading integration technology enabled us to create a secure, comprehensive data foundation that enables experienced journalists to make more informed decisions about what content best serves their local communities. Like I keep saying, data. This is one of the most valuable commodities in the world right now, and it's completely undervalued because this is where we are going. We are going to a completely digital world, and data is going to be the currency of choice. This is the deal everyone's talking about, the Crown Commercial Service, and this is the biggest deal maybe that they've landed this quarter, worth around 1.2 billion over the course of the whole contract. Worth noting that is in pounds, but it's still a really good ratio. So they have been named a supplier of the Crown Commercial Service back office software BOS for RM6194 framework. Now, if we go and actually look at the price, just so you can verify, so I'm not just spouting nonsense, and I recommend you do your DD when you're watching any YouTube videos, including myself. I can always be wrong. I've been corrected before, and I try to make correction videos to address those specific issues. But as you look at this, you can actually see the value of this contract via the UK government. You can see worth 1.2 billion pounds. That's over the course of the whole deal, though. They're just not getting 1.2 billion pounds up front. So I don't want that to be construed or misconstrued that they're just going to smash earnings this quarter. But I do believe the growth is 110% there, and that's what I'm looking at right now. So the BOS framework is a new CCS framework, Crown Commercial Services, to provide a route to market organizations wishing to purchase software subscriptions and license support for back office systems direct from software vendors. It is available to all central government departments and all other public bodies, including local authorities, health, police, fire and rescue, education, and devolved administrations. This is huge, and this shows where they originally got into the space. Now, if you've been following me for some time, you know that I love these guys because where they really targeted their first audience, it was with governments. It was with the US government, and they moved out to the UK, and they've been moving around since. And that's their focal point when they get into these countries, is to work directly with the governments. And the one thing we know about these deals that they're making with the governments is they're progressively getting larger and larger and larger. This isn't the first deal that they made with the UK, especially with the government. They've been making more and more and more, and this is just the biggest one yet. So imagine when it starts setting back over into the United States and we get another deal like this. The stock moved almost immediately, and I want to go over why I believe we could be bottoming out. Now, it is worth mentioning we haven't broke below that $20 level, which is 110% possible, and I do think the market will start to retrace come the beginning of May, so that's worth noting. I think April is going to finish pretty strong with earnings coming across the board for everything, but play your cards right and play them pretty safe if you're going the options route. Now, I know a lot of people on the channel like the channel because I talk about options so much, and that's primarily where I'm trading, but with this stock, I would recommend being careful. I'm going to mark some key points that we need to watch as far as rejection and then breaking through to that next level. So the first thing I want to point out here is that we are forming higher lows, which is very strong, and then obviously you got your lower highs as well, so we are getting that pinching going down. Now, I'm not a triangle guy, and that's not what I do, and I recommend that you do your own DD, do your own TA, whatever you want to do for the stock. On the long-term aspect, it is looking pretty good, right? So we're kind of getting that double bottom there, and then we are, in my opinion, getting the double bottom at this level. Now, when you see we're getting this wick a little bit lower, but where I'm looking at the bulk of that volume, you can see it's roughly at the same point. That blue line literally does not move, as you can see right there from TradingView. That's already my charting. And when I'm doing all my DD, I do use Bazinga Pro. It gives you access to see every single news article so you don't miss a thing on your specific stock, and you can create watch lists. Also, the link is down below, so you can do a 14-day free trial. You don't have to put a credit card in, nothing like that. So I recommend you just try it out. It is synchronized with TradingView as well, so you know that. But anyways, as we continue on, this is the area that I'm most curious about going into the following week. So we have the monthly open of April right here, and we're pushed down below it obviously right now. The question is can we get back above that range? We've had a pretty good past few days, good week. Honestly, we came down to the level and we've been bouncing up since. And then we also had that news as well. So this was all just positive news stacking and stacking and stacking. And then going into last week, this is when we had the double click day or demo day part 2, whatever you want to call it. So either way, we are moving in an uptrend. Now, I do believe we're going to get somewhat of a breakout, but I want to see how we react above this level, because if we can hold the volume for a day and a half above that level, I do believe there's a chance that we start to see that breakout towards the 27.5 level. But it just depends how we start to sit on that. So this is going to be a shorter time frame. And now for people on the longer time frame, you're like, Tyler, I really don't care. How about the long term? What's your viewpoint there? Long term, the volume is lacking. If we're looking at the volume over the next, month and a half, medium swing trade type stuff, the volume is lacking. And what I'm also looking for is a break above that level there. This is the OBV, so you can track all the volume on the actual stock. So typically when you get, dumps to the downside, the OBV will remain up if the buyers are holding the stock. And this isn't just manipulated. So it's a really good, indicator to use for that specifically. And that's why I use it. So right here, Palantir doesn't appear to be manipulated whatsoever. It's just moving congruent with the stock. So that's why I do like looking at it. And with Palantir, you're still getting those higher lows as well, just a little bit more choppy. So I will be looking at that. Palantir does make up a large majority as well of my long-term stock portfolio. I love the growth and the diversification of the company, and they're not just specifically targeting one area. That's why I like them so much. Long-term, I'm not even questioning selling. This is always just an adding opportunity, as well as NEO, as well as PaySafe. Those are my top 3 picks. I absolutely love all 3. We'll make a NEO video later, but looking at Palantir, I absolutely love what's going on, and I do believe going into earnings, we have some upside. Now, the question is after earnings, and I'm not going to even make a call option going into earnings because that's not how I trade Palantir. It's a long-term stock for me. So I don't really even have a statement regarding options because this isn't something that I'm wanting to day trade. I love the absolute value of the company, and I don't think they've even scratched the surface yet. And the key thing to focus on is going to be this. When we're looking at these companies like NEO, for instance, when we're looking at NEO, they're not just an EV company. They're expanding to get into the charging space as well, and they're looking to expand the company worldwide, and they're getting into specific markets where they know that they're going to do well, and they could potentially be first to market. Palantir is very similar, but it's a different company altogether. So when I say they're similar, they're a very broad company. They're not just focused on one specific industry in the data analytics field and the data procurement field. That's not where they're specifically focused on one section, let's say on the government side of things. They can work with anyone and everyone, and these large contracts are proving that. Now, some of the largest deals are obviously coming from these governments, but they're also working with BP, which is oil, Procter & Gamble, which are some of the biggest name brands you see every single day when you go into a grocery store. And then also IBM Watson, a very big financial industry company as well. So these are all very broad scale businesses. And I don't think people are really focusing on that. So if you're coming into PLTR for a short-term game, I don't really think that's the play. Long term, they're absolutely beautiful. And a lot of my friends, this makes up a majority of their Roth IRA. So I recommend just taking a look at the long-term viewpoint of this company. You know, don't just rely on me or the channel for any DD specifically on your stock. I recommend doing your own research, you know, validating what I'm saying, and then look for lies or something that maybe I'm messing up on. Look for something that I'm missing. Comment down below if you have any questions, if you have any statements maybe that I missed on the recent days. But overall, I love the company. I don't really have nothing negative to say about them. If they could do anything better, it maybe be their marketing, be a little bit more engaging to the retail trader, but that's not who they're marketing to. They're marketing to multi-million and billion-dollar companies. So when you watch their interviews and when you watch their, you know, their demo days, don't get discouraged if you don't understand it or if it seems a little complex, because they're not marketing to you. They're marketing to the big guys. They're marketing to the hedgies. That's who they're marketing to. So I like the stock. Comment down below if you have any questions. Patreon link down below if you want to see every single trade I'm getting before I do it. If not, you can get access to my daily watch list. You can get access to everything for pretty much free if you just pay attention to the channel. Have a good one, traders. Namaste.
We gonna rock, then we gonna roll, then we let it pop, don't let it